Nancy Pelosi issues shockingly inhumane statements overnight, and Democrats respond. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Morning's LALATE, our 30-minute programming block every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Hope you're good and safe. Hope the butter is being toasted, the toast is being buttered, and the coffee's brewing. I'm here, you're here, but where is Congress? As viewers, including Democrats, responded overwhelmingly negative to shockingly inhumane statements from Nancy Pelosi overnight. For the first time in the history of this channel, which I applaud the viewers of this channel, bringing it to 200,000 subscribers this week, the first channel ever in the history of YouTube to do it in 111 days. For the first time ever, this channel will become political in just this recording today. Nancy Pelosi issued a shocking statement overnight that she ostensibly admitted that she's negotiating with the livelihoods of Americans and residents of California for a stimulus package. The statements were so shockingly inhumane that viewers quickly responded. Let me tell you how they came out. They came out in two regards, and for the first time ever, this channel is urging three political moves this weekend. First, we're asking you to support new Democratic Vice Chair Representative Scott Peters of California, Representative Don Beyer of North Virginia, and Representative Derek Kilmer, no relation to Val, although I think I liked Derek in Batman. Did you see that sequel? That was that sequel that went to direct to DVD. He's out of Washington. They have introduced a standalone bill, $600 unemployment benefits to be done right away. Their bill is called the Workers' Relief and Security Act, but I'm also calling for two additional ones. One for stimulus checks and three for eviction moratorium. Let me get right to the details. If you didn't see what's going on this week, Nancy Pelosi has been under fire for a HEROES Act that is a balloon, bloated, over-encompassing, too difficult to manipulate bill that's all of 120 pages. And the bill encompasses too much that is not necessarily urgent, while millions of Americans and thousands of viewers of this channel have become homeless. During the time in which Nancy Pelosi has done her negotiation efforts, viewers of this channel have become homeless. They have no money to put on their table. They have nothing to live on. And what did she think that has done for her? Well, she explained that overnight. In an interview with the PBS NewsHour, and in a news statement in which she released on her website, she said both the same things. She said that this has strategic value in not reaching a settlement agreement with standalone bills. Strategic value? Let me back up. What happened was earlier in this week, these individuals called the New Democratic Coalition, led by Representative Scott Peters, introduced to Nancy Pelosi a bill that is a standalone bill that calls for $600 of unemployment benefits, extension of FPUC to be done right away. He basically saw the same problem that you and I are seeing, that the HEROES Act is too bloated, it has a lot of stuff in there, and that we have a sense of urgency for particular issues. In his case, he's talking about unemployment. He said we need to have this as a standalone bill, we need to have this voted on this Saturday. Yeah, tomorrow. And so he wrote Nancy Pelosi with a letter, and I'll get to that in a second. 114 other members of the House sent Nancy Pelosi a letter. And the letter says that they're urging her to take up a vote this Saturday on legislation to extend unemployment benefits for those who are in need right away. I'll be going over that more in a second. Now, this came as the week started with Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows not once but three times saying, we will give you a stimulus check deal, Nancy. We'll send out the checks this week, Nancy. We will reach an agreement about the stimulus checks this week, Nancy. And when asked about doing a standalone stimulus check deal, she said no. No, I'm not doing it. Well, we hadn't heard why she wasn't doing it until this. The most shockingly inhumane statements by a representative I have ever heard. And they don't represent the people of the state of California. They don't represent the statements or the beliefs of the American citizen. And so I don't know what you're doing, Nancy. The statement was that when asked about Mr. Peterson's standalone bill, and why she doesn't want to do a standalone bill, she says it doesn't represent the timing and strategic values of her negotiation skills. What? Now, this is not only the first, that was what she said in her written statement. Let me tell you what she said in the interview. I don't think, this is what she said in the interview, and the video is all over online. And ironically, well, I'll tell you the backstory to that in a second. She says on the interview last night on PBS NewsHour, I don't think strategically it's where we should go right now because the Republicans would like to pass something like that and say forget about it. No, they've not said that, Nancy. When asked by PBS NewsHour, why don't you send out a stimulus check, single standalone bill right now to get checks in the hands of American citizens who have not had those checks for months, she said, I don't think strategically it's where we are right now. This is coming from a millionaire lifetime politician who is out of touch as Americans are becoming homeless because of your negotiation skills. Strategically, your negotiation skills have resulted in your citizens of your state becoming homeless. Strategically, your negotiation skills have resulted in your people becoming hungry. Strategically, negotiation skills have resulted in people on the streets. Now, the issue is the following. No one likes a lot of stuff that's going on in the negotiations. We got it. But if you look on CNBC today, here's just a sort of an indication of where we are. If you look in the lower corner, it says what stories are trending on CNBC today. Ironically, the story that's trending on CNBC today is not a story from today. It's not about Tesla 5-for-1 stock splits. It's not about beautiful tech stocks rallying. It's about stimulus checks from 5 days ago. That is the leading story. And the title of the story is, While There's Still Hope for $1,200 Stimulus Checks, It's Stalled Because of Congressional Talks. Here's where we are, Nancy. No one understands what you're doing. $1,200 stimulus checks. Let's do it, Steve and Nancy. I hope you're both watching. You both agree right now to a standalone $1,200 stimulus check bill phrased as the following. $1,200 stimulus checks, all non-dependents. Married couple, $1,200 stimulus checks. Stimulus checks up to 5 individuals in the household. $6,000 maximum stimulus checks. All dependents get $1,200 stimulus checks, whether minor dependents or adult dependents. I understand the Republicans want to do $500. Steve, that's not doable. It's an insult. I don't think it represents your party's beliefs as well. There are viewers on this channel, hundreds of thousands, who are on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, relevant benefits, and veterans who worked for this country, who struggled, who fought for this country, and now because of accounting choices, and not because of any other purpose but accounting choices, are dependents on their sons' or daughters' tax returns. And because they chose those choices, because of accounting purposes, they didn't get a first stimulus check because the first stimulus package didn't pay adult dependents 18 years of age or older. Now, the second time around, you want those same people, like veterans, to get a $500 stimulus check. It doesn't make sense. I don't think it makes financial sense. I think that the two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, should come together and right now do a standalone stimulus check bill that says $1,200 everyone. Up to a family of 5, $6,000. Adult dependents, minor dependents, you can have up to 4 dependents on the tax, return. So if you're a single mom and you got 4 kids, yourself plus your 4 kids. We're done. It's as simple as that. You sign, you make the agreement today, Nancy and Steve. You send it to the House and the Senate for a vote in the next 3 days. The president signs it by the middle of next week. We got 10 days. The IRS will send it out by electronic means, as Steve has represented. To those who are set up for electronic means, if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, or anyone has their electronic information on register with the IRS, people would see the stimulus checks around the second week of September. Done. I don't know what you're doing, Nancy. I really don't know what you're doing. And I think this is really ridiculous that suddenly Don Jr. is the voice of reason. Don Jr. last night tweeted that he doesn't understand why you can't agree to standalone stimulus checks. Now, I understand there are certain things to go to the mat for, but what are we going to the mat for this? Now, Representative Scott Peters, who's here in California, and 114 other congressional leaders in the House said, hey, this is not appropriate. As to the issue of FPUC, he says it's been 3 weeks since the weekly $600 unemployment benefits expired, leaving 30 million Americans in lurch. We urge the people waiting to get back to work across the country not only to extend unemployment benefits, but help pay their bills. What he wants to do is very simple. He wants, if I understand the bill correctly, he wants to extend unemployment FPUC, which goes on top of UI and PUA, at $600 a week to January of next year as a standalone bill. Now, I understand if Steve is watching this video, which I hope you are, Steve, and you don't want to do that, then I think that, and I've said this for 2 weeks, I think that Representative Scott Peters would certainly agree that if you're there, he's at 600, Steve's at 400, we can do this at 500 and get it done. Here's what's going on. LWA, lost wage assessments, which was created by the executive order over 2 weeks ago, has become a debacle. If you don't know it, it's really become a debacle because states are now manifesting it and window dressing it as false hopes. Let me explain what's wrong with what's happening with it. FEMA only has a certain number of funds, and LWA provides a $300 a week payment from LWA underwritten by FEMA for states that apply. Well, FEMA has made very clear, this is where they are. There were an initial group of states, about 3 or 4 that applied. Arizona was one of the first of them. Then there was a few more. There was 7, then there was 10, then there was 11. By the point at which it was at 10, FEMA said, listen, I got to be frank with you. We got 3 weeks of money, and that's it. We got 3 weeks of $300 a week, and that is it. And after that, we have no more money. So those 10 states that got in, we might have 3 weeks for you, but we're doing it first in time, first in order. So Arizona, you're gonna get your money. The one that was second and third, I think Louisiana may have been second and third, you're gonna get your money. But those that are around like number 9, number 10, you might not get 3 weeks. Now, what's going on is that literally overnight, all these other states have now applied, like Texas. False hopes. False hopes. You're telling your citizens that, oh, hey, we're going to get that $300 a week from LWA. LWA has already said that 3 weeks is going to be gone. They don't have 3 weeks. And they already said that it'll probably be eaten up by the first, 5 to 10 states. So why are states sort of coming back from, lunchtime and suddenly say, hey, we're going to go apply for it and go praise us, state citizens? No. So this is why Representative Peters' bill is so important, because LWA is going to be gone in 3 weeks. 2 weeks. It's already been 1 week. It's going to be gone in 2 weeks. It's going to be gone. So why is Nancy saying that it's of a strategic value not to give people their unemployment benefits and keep it as part of a big stimulus package? No. Finally, the last thing, eviction moratorium. I have been so incredibly critical of everyone about eviction moratorium. Let's back up. The president made a inherently, outrageously bad move 2 weeks ago in claiming when he sat at his country club in New Jersey that he was issuing an eviction moratorium shortly thereafter by executive order. Great news. We thought it was coming. Here it comes. And then and he said the lawyers are drafting it up. Well, within 24 hours, the lawyers drafted up something. It's not an eviction moratorium. It's not. Now, today, nearly 2 weeks later, Republicans and Democrats have told him, hey, that's not an eviction moratorium. It doesn't create an eviction moratorium. Has he done anything? No. Has Democrats done anything? No. Have Republicans done anything? No. So Steve and Nancy, standalone bill. Standalone bill, it needs to be 1 page long. Eviction moratorium, no evictions in the state of no evictions in the United States, and no mortgage foreclosures until January 2021 or until the pandemic settles down. Done. And you know who can draft it, Nancy? Carolyn Maloney, who you have enlisted to draft a 1 page bill that took all of 1 second to draft to have a congressional hearing this Saturday for the postman. Viewers aren't stupid, that you can certainly have a representative out of the state of New York, Carolyn Maloney, draft a one-page bill to do things when it's an urgent issue, and call members of the House back in session when you think it's an urgent issue. But when it comes to a stimulus check that needs to be a standalone bill, when it comes to a extension of FPUC benefits, which can be done as a standalone bill, as the New Democrats call, and when it comes to an eviction moratorium, which can be done as a standalone bill, you don't do it. You don't do it. And to say it's of strategic value is inhumane. It's simply inhumane. It is inhumane to say that for strategic negotiation values, you wish and hope and are putting 3 people through more evictions, more homelessness, more hunger, because that is your negotiation tactic. It's inhumane. It's inhumane. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if that's the way you want to leave the House, you should abdicate. You should step aside. This is not the time or place. The viewers of this channel, the vast majority of them who are now homeless, became homeless in the last 3 weeks because of these negotiations details, these negotiation strategic values. They weren't homeless before. And there's a lot that are on the brink of homeless, or those that are living on their cars, in their cars, and are about to have their cars repoed. When you are negotiating with the livelihoods of Americans, we don't forget. And so what I'm also asking is that for any representative who is tagged in this video, or any senator who's tagged in this video, whether Democrat or Republican, if we come into the fall election and you have not given us a standalone bill that gives us a rent eviction moratorium, you've not given us a stimulus check, and we've not given us extension of unemployment benefits by September 1st as a standalone bill, I'm asking all the viewers of this channel to ask that all incumbents be thrown out of Congress. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you are all to be thrown out of Congress because you have not served the interests of the American citizens. Coming up afternoons will be a lighter and more refreshing video, but I had to do this one. Afternoons LALATE starts every day at 3:30 with the check, and then hazard pay, next FPUC, and finally rent assistance. That evenings LALATE are at 6:45. If you think this video is of value, I ask you to tag the representative, whether it's a senator or the House representative, to tell them time is to move. This Saturday is when Scott Peters is calling for the vote. He's calling for a vote this Saturday on a legislation to extend unemployment benefits. I'm asking Representative Scott Peters to reach out to me, to personally reach out to me, and to discuss also introducing a standalone bill for a stimulus check and a standalone bill for an eviction moratorium. I think those need to be drafted, 3 bills drafted by the New Democrats, and to be signed by the 114 members of the House. And I do believe that with the exception of negotiating $600 with Steve, I do believe you'll have a deal with the Republicans within 24 hours. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling, stay positive, and stay educated, and stay FLA for more.